Going on, everybody? This is Brandon Warne here, and I'm bringing you the as yet untitled Brandon Warne podcast project. Kind of give you the lowdown here in this first brief kind of an introduction to what we're trying to accomplish here. As you know, my name is Brandon Warne. A lot of you probably know me from 1500 ESPN as the Minnesota Twins beat writer, but I would really like to get into audio as well, and I don't really know any better way than to do basically what I'm doing right now. And to really break it down for people to see really how much I know about audio is I'm sitting here with my iPhone and I'm going to record video. You won't be able to see anything, but I'm going to record video and basically upload it to YouTube so people can listen to it. And obviously they won't see anything because it's sitting on my desk right now, my beautiful IKEA desk here in beautiful, lovely Plymouth, Minnesota. And so basically I'm going to just, the concept here that I'm trying to attain is short little digestible bits that people can sit down and listen to, 10, 15 minutes, bring you the news of the day, whether it's about the Twins, anything that I find interesting. Now, the biggest thing is that I'm going to operate alone, at least for the time being, but what I require from Twitter fans, from Facebook friends, from people who can use email, which is quite frankly just about everybody, is the ability to contact me with ideas of things that you want to know about. And this is largely going to be content driven by what people want to know that I can't answer easily on Twitter. And in that respect, I can kind of keep a grasp on what's popular and what people are discussing nowadays. So I don't want to say that it would be limited to just Minnesota Twins. We'll talk Vikings. We can talk any Minnesota sports, food, beer, pop culture. Pro wrestling is another big one that I really enjoy. Basically, just anything that we can get to drum up some interest here and get 15 minutes hammered out, because I believe that's the limit for what YouTube will allow me to put up as well. So, basically that's kind of the spiel here. I don't want to say naive, but I'm not too vain to think that people want to listen to this obnoxious voice for more than 15 minutes at a time as well. And I know for a fact that even I can't sit down and listen to some of my favorite radio shows, which go an hour, 2 hours. People don't have time to do that. So that's part of what I'm trying to accomplish here. In addition to YouTube really only allowing 15 minutes worth of video, is to give people a digestible amount of information in a small amount of time frame, and that too will limit me from burnout so that I can record on a frequent basis, but I can bring you the news of the day. For instance, today's news of the day that I'd like to dive into before we wrap up here is Doug Bernier of the Twins outrighted off the 40-man roster, bringing the Twins' 40-man roster to 35. And that also means that there are two guys, Wilkin Ramirez and Samuel DeDuno, who are on the 60-day disabled list, and so they're a roster exemption. So in theory, the Twins right now stand at 37 on the 40-man roster. Earlier in the week, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday, they took Cole DeVries, Josh Renicky, Chiron Martis, and Cleet Thomas off the 40-man roster. So the Twins are already starting to get some flexibility in terms of their 40-man roster for off-season moves and additions for guys who need to be added to be protected from the Rule 5 draft. Your possibly Alex Myers or Max Keplers of the world. So a lot of movement on the 40-man roster front can be expected up here in the near future. I, for instance, have broken down in the last month or so about another 10 or 12 guys I think the Twins could easily cut from the 40-man roster that wouldn't be much of an issue, either replacing their production, re-signing them to a minor league deal, basically whatever you can imagine to either retain them or let them move on. And so obviously this Twins offseason is going to be a lot of fun to cover here for me as a beat writer. But for fans, hopefully the Twins do add payroll, bring on pitching, and at least make this team look competitive for the first time now in what'll be 4 years. So to wrap it up, here's kind of how we're going to do podcast correspondence. What I want from people to do is either email me at 1500warne@gmail.com. That's 1500 warne@gmail.com. That can be kind of a mailbag situation, but if you want to ask a question on Twitter, do it under the hashtag Warne Podcast. So WARNE Podcast, under Warne Podcast. And basically, this will go as far as my talent, of course, will go, but also however much interaction I can get from people and see if there's any interest, because I would like to see ultimately what I can do with my talent in addition to writing, but also trying to become more of a radio personality too. So basically, that's going to wrap it up on a chilly Friday here in the Minneapolis area. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend.